So there's desk fees.
Yeah.
There are
Splits.
There are advertising fees, and every brokerage charges differently. So I understand every agent's going to do their homework. So let's break it down as to what does desk fees go towards. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to In the House podcast. I'm Jenny Woon.
I'm Toni Singh. Hello, hello.
Hello. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, me too.
It's so nice to see you in person, Toni.
We were doing virtual for a bit, right?
Yes, we were. I wanted to well, this is a topic that I actually wanted to bring up, and I'm going to go off topic a little bit from this episode.
Okay.
I just came across a bully offer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, have you come across that recently? Okay,
What'd you do with it?
Well, we were representing the seller.
Yeah, I mean, the sellers have leverage and stuff right now. How good was the bully offer?
It was actually good. The seller made
Okay.
6 figures
Okay.
more than the list price. So just, it could probably turn into an episode, but I thought I just wanted to touch base because we're experiencing all of this chaos right now, and I thought it would be just kind of interesting to touch on it.
Sure.
How to successfully win at a bully offer.
I have a question.
Bully offers are actually okay.
Yeah, but did you guys have a Schedule A signed?
We had a Schedule A and direction of offers signed, and we revoked it.
And then let everybody know?
We let everybody
know.
know.
That's fine.
So we had, Monday as the deadline offer. We probably had about 30 appointments already booked on a Friday. Between Friday to Sunday, and we had only shown maybe a couple of people, and one of the offers came in from an agent, and their buyer had already seen another property in that complex.
Oh, wonderful!
And they actually didn't even see the one that we listed, so they went ahead, made an offer that was subject free. We notified everybody. Mm-hmm. That we revoked the direction of offers and gave them time to make an offer as well that same evening.
That's how you do it, folks. Has to be done properly.
We went onto the Facebook feed where all the realtors, voice their opinion, and we definitely, I think there was a bit of reference to the event that happened with us.
Oh, who cares? I mean, as long as you do it properly and you let everybody know and you have good intentions and you're not trying to mislead, that's just kind of how it is. I get, though, that how some realtors, if they were thinking you had a Schedule A and they had more time to see it, it could be...
Yeah,
difficult.
No, I understand. And that was the point, was that they were given maybe 6 hours notice to put an offer in. And how do we get their clients into the home? But there's a lot of comments from the agents that knew the rules and said, you know what, this is okay. And they gave notice.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, your seller makes the decision, right?
It does,
They can still sell it. You just have to handle it.
Yeah, we provided the options and the pros and cons. And anyways,
congratulations.
So thank you so much. So back to business.
Back to today's programming. What is the topic today?
Today's topic is how to start a real estate brokerage.
Ooh, so different than what we normally do.
Yeah, totally. I feel like an adult. I feel like, this is the real deal.
Well, we are adults. We've been for a while.
No, okay, sometimes I am.
Yeah, I mean, starting a real estate brokerage, let's talk about that.
It's a lot. It'd be perfect because...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
you and your family run a brokerage.
Yes,
How old is it now?
It was opened in 1992.
Oh, okay.
So we're one of the last boutique brokerages in Vancouver still left. Excellent. And we're still going.
Yeah, it's in East Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I, guys, am starting a
huge.
Real estate brokerage. Woo-woo. I guess this is the official announcement.
Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Hey, your location too. Tell us about the location.
It is North Burnaby at Burnaby Heights. It is a retail, like a commercial unit that's on street front. And at the end of the day, it's 1,400 square feet. So it's going to be an amazing open space, bright, natural light. And we're in the middle of construction. I'm hoping that we have a launch grand opening date of this spring. It's going to be amazing.
Can I come?
I really look forward. Yeah,
I would love to
You want to
support
move your license, you mean, right?
No, we still have ours, Jenny. But I support you, and I want to be there for this milestone in your career.
Yeah, yeah. We're just like a hop, skip, and a jump, just across Boundary
Be like,
Road.
hey, I'll drive to come see you.
I'll be like, Toni, can you answer these agents' questions for me?
Oh, for sure. But then, so I have a question, and I don't know if we probably want to have some main points for the episode, but did you already hire your back-end admin staff that the brokerage can function properly?
Yeah, let's get that. Yeah, that's one of the topics that I want to
topics.
mention because there's going to be a lot of questions that I have for you.
Oh, I might not be able to answer, but okay.
But I thought this episode's for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. And again, if you feel if this episode is right for a friend, a colleague who wants to start their own real estate business, be sure to share this episode with them.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's get started.
Okay.
So should I start asking questions? Because I feel like I'm going to be bombarding you with lots of questions.
You can ask questions. Hopefully I'll be able to answer them.
Okay. Well, let's start off with what is a real estate brokerage?
So, and you know the answer to this. You can answer it. A real estate brokerage is it's basically the main house which allows realtors to sell real estate through the brokerage. Every real estate brokerage has to have a managing broker in order to function, and implement rules, oversee everything, make sure the contracts and everything is okay. But basically, the brokerage is I want to call it a house, basically, of where real estate agents would work out of and hang their license.
Okay, and there are two types of real estate brokerages. One is like an independent brokerage, and one is a franchise or like a branch off, maybe like a
larger brand.
And so it's perfect. We actually, each one of us, we own one. So I'm running I'm a franchisee of Open Realty.
I have questions about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Okay. And yours is an independent. Yeah. However, you also just opened up another location.
Yes. We've expanded to Vancouver Island in Victoria, downtown Victoria.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just last week. So we're on this path together.
Yeah,
it's all at the same time.
Yeah, I'm going to be asking Warren a lot of questions too.
Oh yeah, Warren, you can call him anytime. He'll help, for sure.
Yeah. So, you have questions about franchise. You want to just clear that out?
So I'm curious then how it works. So you basically own the franchise rights, I would imagine, to this particular Oakland office in North Burnaby.
Yes.
But you still have to pay franchise fees and stuff, right?
So there's a flat fee to get to purchase the brand. Then there are the royalty fees that you would pay. Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of expenses and everything then, so are those covered by the main office or completely? Because for us, everything's going to go through our main Vancouver office as the hub.
Okay. And what expenses are you referring to?
So I just mean, so I would imagine expenses for your admin team, conveyancing, accounting, all of that. Does that go through the main house or through you guys?
I've hired my own conveyancer.
Okay.
I've hired my own front desk and admin staff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm paying basically for their support in other ways. So they may tune in and like step in a little bit on some of the questions I may have. They're also taking care of the entire marketing. So which makes sense because it's just, to protect the brand and the image.
Exactly. So that does make sense. So most of it is you. And then some of the things like marketing that are brand centered, they would help with.
So I'm paying into the advertising fees
cool.
as well. So yeah, that's, so it's been really fun. There's so many moving parts for me. And I want to, bore you with these details.
No, but wait, this is a good question then. So then because you're in it right now,
Yes.
and this is your first one,
Yeah.
approximately, you don't need to be exact, but how much currently does it cost to open a real estate brokerage?
Let's put it this way, guys. This is not including construction, because construction with 1,400 square feet, it's my budget's around 250,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's actually really low on the low end, because the space that I'm currently in, I would say the drywall's done, most of the lighting's done. There's quite a bit of, the front reception desk is done, flooring's done. So there's been quite, like, I'm working with I would say about, the space is about 50% done.
Yeah, you got to hire professionals for that know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So the background work's done, but the cosmetic stuff, millwork, specialty lighting, the specialty graphics that are going in, all the technology, like the networking and the data, and little details like that. And then I'm adding in some really nice custom furniture in there. So that's going to all add up to close to 250,000. It's going to look so nice. If that space wasn't done and handed over to me done, I would say it's probably closer to 325,000.
Yeah. So you have the headache right now and of basically taking it on yourself and overseeing everything through the professionals. But there's a bit of it's a bit cheaper because you guys are taking on the work and hiring the people to do it.
Yeah. And so far, just setting up the back end, like Lone Wolf and Sky Slope and all the little details like that, the nuances, I would say I've probably spent around 30,000 so far.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Are my numbers off compared to your Victoria?
Because our main office was opened in 1992 and the office has evolved with technologies over time. Some of our systems are actually, not all the systems are new, because the way that everything was set up was integrated and we kind of just evolved with it whenever they've done updates. The Victoria office is a little bit cheaper because really we're paying, the main office still pays for everything and they're just using the exact same systems that we already had. It is just the office space. So it's not as expensive as you've had to pay because there was no renovation needed for the office space. It was just like the office space. And then the logistics of, in Victoria, it's a bit different than Vancouver. The brokerage and the managing broker actually have to be members of the island board in Victoria. So there's where we have to pay more is in the actual licensing and insurance fees.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because it's completely separate.
Okay. Yeah, talking about that, I applied for my brokerage license.
Yay!
And
return You're already an associate, so you just have to change it.
Yeah, I'm going to upgrade my associate brokerage license status to managing broker
of this office.
But before that step, because right now I don't even have a brokerage license.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like Oakland Realty Northwest. So the return email from BCFSA said they are 4 to 6 weeks wait for processing time.
It took us, and that's why the office opened last week. It took 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay. So
after you fill everything out properly and if there's no amendments.
Right. So I filled it out myself. So I felt like I was pretty diligent in that, and I don't think I'm missing anything. I haven't committed any crimes or anything like that either on my criminal check.
They ask that for real estate agents too, I think, right?
Yes, if you're a new agent. Yeah. So that's the budget. What's the next step? So I'm waiting for my license. I'm waiting for construction to happen. You're obviously ahead of me with the Victoria office because you've opened. What are some of the things that we need to prepare for in terms of
your salespeople?
Yes. Next step is, I don't want to call it recruiting because they're going to be family, right?
That's right. And that's how we feel about everyone in our office too.
Yes. yes. That's, why we get along is the way our companies run. We value
the people
that are in our community.
That's all there is, the people.
Yeah. So building your brand and building the culture.
Yes.
That's going to be.
You touched on something important. So when you're building as a family, you know how we've had many conversations about bridging business and personal?
Yes.
So I think in order to foster those relationships, like one, for whatever team you're creating, and this rings true for your back end. I don't want to say even administration staff. I want to say administration family support. It's really important to understand what's happening in their lives. You have to, I mean, there's a genuine interest there. I think what we're going into right now is we're talking about probably the back end of how the real estate brokerage works and how to make sure that you're building the proper admin staff as a family. Is that accurate?
Well, there's two things to look at here. It's the employees that will be managing and the operations of the business, and then there's the agents that you're recruiting. So
let's talk about the operations.
Okay.
Because you can't we'll say recruit agents. You can't recruit agents without the operations in place.
Of course. Okay.
So things like accounting, really, really important, because with any real estate brokerage, you have a trust account and a general account. For those of you not familiar with trust accounts, every cent needs to be accounted for. There's rules surrounding the trust account so that it prevents against things like, mismanagement of funds, because the real estate brokers will hold deposits as stakeholders for purchases. So it's very important to make sure that the accounting element is in order. And there's always regular audits now on brokerages, not just for accounting, but for things like the FinTrack. Like, it's huge. They do them all the time, and you can't even have one thing missing on any of the forms that they pull. The postal code has to be there too, even though it's information that you can find readily, right? It has to be done accurately. So the record keeping is really important. Another component to this would be your conveyancing staff. So how did you find your conveyancing staff?
So I felt like, not knowing how many agents will be immediately joining Oakwyn Realty Northwest, I decided to hire a company called JD Solutions.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. They work remote, and they actually work with many different brokerages. So they don't work physically in the brokerage, but we've dedicated a specific email to them so that they're replying to
Perfect.
To the emails that are specific to my brokerage. And yeah, they're very familiar with the back end system. So we've hired somebody that's off site and remote, that works remote.
Okay, so that's good. With your current systems, they probably just have to pull it from your database or whatever it is, right? Like, it would have a trigger, and they would say, okay, well, this needs to be put into the system, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So even with a dedicated email, I'm thinking of incorporating maybe Monday.com, where there's a process in place that they know that this is the next step that they need to.
Yeah, it's helpful. If they're working with other brokerages, I'm sure they know what they're doing, even for collapses and things like that, right? Because technically you're supposed to keep a record of those too.
Yes. So this is internal information, but the way they charge is per transaction.
Is it expensive?
No, not really. I felt like it was really reasonable, because if I was to, I have to go back to my contract.
Yeah.
No, not even. Not even.
Really? That's cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So I felt like, rather than hiring a full-time conveyancer, which I heard there's a shortage right now.
There's a huge shortage right now.
Yeah. So I decided, let's just go with the flow, and we'll build. Once I realize I'm paying a lot of money, then I'll hire somebody.
So then, for what you're explaining, you guys also probably set up your bank accounts and everything electronically.
Yes, so everything is through TD. We've set up the 3 accounts that you just mentioned, the ops, the commission, and then where we hold all the the expenses and
and your general account, and then your trust account would just be for stakeholder deposits and things like that.
Right. Yeah. So I've given them the tokens that they've been given to. See, this is really hard for me to explain, because I really don't even know.
That's okay.
It's so many moving parts here.
I know.
So they will authorize a release of a payment, but there's a secondary authorization.
So you have 2 signers?
Yes.
All the time?
Yes.
On both the trust account and the general account, or just the trust?
Both.
Yeah,
both.
It's a good idea to do that.
Both.
And they should be different people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. One is me. Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah. So that just means that there's a lot of
There's so
work that I
much.
did
We
not
didn't even
realize.
talk about, so the other thing too is obviously for any success, in order to operate, you have to have someone with a valid managing broker license. It's also important then that if something, God forbid, were to happen to you, you have a second. I would imagine that you can pull someone from one of the main Oakland offices for that. But for those of you that don't know, what actually happens if the managing broker becomes incapacitated or they pass away, your business stops functioning completely. You can't function, which means that all of the listings that you have or any of the deals currently in motion can't go through.
So question here, if I'm on vacation, I'm the only managing broker from my office.
It's okay.
Can I go on vacation?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't need to be physically in the office.
No, you need
9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
No. Are you signing?
I feel like that's what they sell it as, is that a managing broker needs to be in the office.
You need to be available to your salespeople and you need to be available to sign things. But however you set up the signing, right? Because
everything's digital.
it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Good.
you can still
I feel
travel.
so much better.
Well, we're here to support you in any way that you need, but you have a huge support network anyhow. Just call anytime.
So yeah, I'm looking for front desk admin, like a onboarding.
That's hard
concierge.
right now too. There's shortage and stuff for that.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
But I don't know. Like I feel like the skills are pretty general, but it's definitely a people person.
So my outlook on that is true. The skills are general, but the front of house person is essentially the most important person in the organization because they're the first point of contact for anybody walking in. Most people don't walk in these days because of obvious reasons. First point of contact for any prospective and current clients. So
clients meaning both in two contexts.
Yeah.
Being the agent, but also buyers and sellers.
Correct. Correct. So I think that, the skills are general. And when you get the right person for front of house, I'd probably say that you'd want it to be a growth position, even though, I mean, you want to keep people motivated, right? And that's worked for us.
Yeah. So guys, I'm looking for somebody who is familiar with being very detailed oriented, knows how to input information, knows how to fix and resolve issues
Problem solver.
like a printer, how to connect people's phones and to our systems. And who
can communicate with excellent customer service.
Yeah. So
that's not a big ask.
check. On the other end is bringing on to build your family, which are the agents.
Yes. I just thought of something. We're going to talk about that, but I just thought of something. The end of your first fiscal year might be interesting.
The end of the first fiscal year, so this year.
Well, whenever because the brokerage always has to do the accounting for the fiscal year. Yeah, it's so annoying.
Okay.
But
well I have the right accountants in place, and they seem to know what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, but building the right family.
Yeah. So
for sure.
I'm really looking forward to connecting with agents at this level because I'm witnessing how to build their business and being a part of that. I find that, whether I talk to new agents who are just coming into the industry or someone who is maybe feeling unfulfilled in their current brokerage, or maybe they're just looking for something new that they didn't realize that is available, how do we problem solve this? How do we create something that they are not aware that they're missing?
So I think there has to be commonality and alignment with any prospective team member. I think that a lot of these skills in real estate for sales can be taught. Obviously, there's soft skills there that it's better if the person has. However, I think their motivation and energy levels and alignment with team culture or what it is that you want to create is the most important thing. Those things are very difficult to replace. And if the alignment and values are not shared, you can't get to a place of thriving in abundance and creating the culture for the team. And you know, because you're a team builder, that if you get somebody on the team that's just a little bit out of alignment in any of those things, whether it be culture, values, mindset is really important. It can throw off the entire dynamic if it's not checked right away.
One point is that it's not all about the price. It's not all about the desk fees.
It's amazing to me how many real estate agents only care about that.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. Personally, this is before I went to my family's brokerage. I was looking for the things that I just said, which was, commonality. How do they treat people? Because maybe then I would want to be in business with these people. What is it? Is there a mentorship or anything or any type of guidance, which is invaluable? The desk fee and the split is not as important if you are mentored by the right person and they can help you foster your skills and your special gifts. So it's kind of like looking at it that way, but it is amazing. Even over the last couple of weeks, we had some agents just, they wanted to potentially join our brokerage. And the first question was, well, what are the fees? And if you're asking that question to me, it's a valid question, 100%. I'm going to answer. However, it tells me a lot about your mindset. So these things are important.
So what's the size of your brokerage right now? Like how many agents do you have? And what's the staff?
We're small on purpose. I think we'll be expanding though now. We're at 7. And there's also economies of scale, right? Because if you have everybody top producing or making medallion, the volume of sales obviously needs to be supported by the conveyancing team and everything, right? If you're bringing people on that are not going to produce or not willing to learn, it drags everything else down. And so there's more liability for you as the managing broker. And also it throws things off for conveyancing because there might be things that in the contract were not done properly. So we've always kept it small previously on purpose and really we were not looking to expand. But it's a little bit different though now. Just because I think Warren and I are ready to take on like-minded people. We want to work with people that share our values. We also want to see people succeed. And we've already been in real estate for, over a decade each, longer than that. So I think it's really important to be able to, if you've got new people coming in, show them the ropes, help them because they can succeed too. They just don't know how.
So where are you getting these leads? Are you actually even advertising?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
We've had a lot of great people reach out. I'm looking at hiring 2 in the next 3 months. They have to be the right fit. Interviewed already 5. I never reached out. In the last 2 weeks, they called me. I also though put it out to the universe that because we need help. Right now, I have 30 clients active right now.
That's insane.
You also know that there's been things happening on the back end with family and health where I need to be there. So, it's a lot. I need the 2 people now, but I need them to be the right people. And the other people that we had interviewed weren't the right fit for reasons of mindset, worldview, like outlook in terms of being open. And wanting to grow together, and energy.
Very important. Yeah.
The other skills can be taught.
These are really great tips for me.
I hope it was helpful. I feel like it wasn't.
No, it is.
But you can just, I'm here for you anytime. It's going to be great. I know that your brokerage, when it opens, I want to be at the opening. I want to support you every step of the way. And it's going to be amazing. You needn't worry about these things. Everything's going to work out. I
think so.
Yeah, it's going to.
I have a good feeling.
I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything
Burnaby
else?
is one of the cities where I find there's a specific niche that Oakland carries, and a culture that Oakland carries that the other brokerages don't have at the moment.
Oakland's culture is great.
Yeah. This is my 4th brokerage that I've been with, and I have to say. Even I would even say this, but even if I wasn't running a brokerage, that they are by far I definitely feel like an extension of the family of the owners, and they are all down to teaching and learning and making industry changes and elevating the standards.
Yeah, and the first time I met Morgan, you could tell she's very loving and open. She's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey." I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Because you have to show people who you are. And I think that when we show people who we are, you can see pretty quickly if you want to be in business together or not, and if you're able to work together and help each other grow. Yeah.
No, Oakwin, it's been great because Arlene and Michael, they're brother and sisters.
Yeah.
And Morgan, it seems like they've adopted her as another sister.
Sibling.
Yeah. So it works really well. And they have their own podcast, Oakwin Podcast.
Yeah.
They sound so great together, finish each other's sentences. So I feel there's a lot of love and support from all sides, including
and not just from Oakwin.
Yeah.
We're all knowing it's going to work out, and maybe we'll have to do a separate episode of your growing pains in the first year.
Yes.
Opening a brokerage.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking all these questions right now. So what's next? So let's say we're growing this family of agents. What's really important? What is some of the tools or some of the ways that we can continue connecting with the agents that are part of the brokerage?
So we do an office meeting. So I think support would be one. You can do it in a variety of ways. Office meeting, check-ins, business planning, going over those things to help keep people motivated, updates on market, what you're currently seeing in the market. It's helpful to hear what other people are going through. And then also access to technology and systems through the brokerage. That's important because people want to feel supported, and that's one way to make them feel supported, but also help their businesses grow. What do you think? What else would you add to those two things?
Growth and education.
For sure.
Yeah, growth and education, and as well as participation and collaboration. I think maintaining a community that's consistent and where they're their ambassadors. I feel like even though Oakwin's going to be managing all the marketing for me, the people in the brokerage that's already licensed with Oakwin Northwest, they're going to be the ones that are going to be bringing in their peers into the same brokerage. So I feel that if there's any better people or advertisements, they're the walking advertisements. They're going to be the encouraging their colleagues to come over.
Of course.
I want to go back to desk fees because you know how you said everybody stresses about, that's kind of the number one question when they want to consider selecting a brokerage.
Yeah, it's the wrong question though.
But it does get asked, and it's a fair question.
Yeah.
So there's desk fees.
Yeah.
There are
splits.
There are also advertising fees, and every brokerage charges differently. So I understand every agent's going to do their homework. So let's talk about let's break it down as to what does desk fees go towards?
Yeah, the desk fees quite simply go towards the operating costs that it takes to run the brokerage. There are costs associated with that. So for example, if a realtor doesn't sell anything that month, which doesn't happen at our brokerage, but hypothetically, if you don't have a desk fee and the brokerage is only taking a percentage split of a deal, well, somebody still has to cover the expenses for everything, right? And that's what we use the desk fee for.
Yeah.
Also, the desk fee can be put towards things like marketing, advertising, and those kinds of things.
It can range between $0 to $700, I'd say.
We're actually in the middle of that. Ours is $350.
Okay.
But yeah, I have seen a lot higher. I've actually seen $900. I forget who it was from. I did an analysis a while back on some of the brokerages. Their desk fee was really high, but I think their commission splits they weren't even that much less, but it was on a sliding scale. So at least then they had if they're getting, like, let's say $900 a month, it still spins the wheel with, their operating costs and expenses.
Yeah, and Oakwin is landing between $500 to $600.
Yeah, okay, but you guys also help more with marketing and stuff, right?
Yeah, so that's what another line item on that rate is a 1% advertising fee. So I remember I was paying a higher percentage with Remax.
Remax is very high for their commercial fee.
Yeah. So I have to pay a fee to Oakwyn for advertising. And so they're always consistently promoting the agents, and through social media, through emails, really supporting their business and listings and everything like that. So I would say that fee that I have to pay, it will be definitely passed on to the agent. So because it really promotes them.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
Yeah. So the other item on the rate sheet is the deal fee, the commission check fee. Do you guys charge that?
Yeah, and this is funny. So the last 5 agents that I spoke to, they just assumed that I didn't have to pay it. I pay the exact same fee as everybody else because it would not be fair. And I'm like, that's amazing. So you think that because I'm on the back end that I wouldn't pay it? Like, I pay the exact same rate as you. So I can say ours. We're not holding anything back. Ours is 10%.
Oh, 10% of the commission check.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a percentage. I've never seen that before. I've always seen it as a flat
No,
fee.
it's very common. Like, even when I used to be at Rennie, they took a percentage as well.
Okay.
I know that things change and things like that, and there can be sliding scales when you max out at a certain number. Yeah, we don't do that.
Okay. Well, and one thing that I've noticed with your brokerage is you are treated equally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though you're part of the owners, it kind of makes sense because at the end of the day, it's part of the operations, right?
Yeah, but it's crazy to me. I'm like, I would just assume that it would be the exact same. If not, I should have to pay more. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's fine.
But everybody else's fee would go up then.
Yeah, I guess it should be equal.
Yeah.
We gotta keep it equal.
That's only fair. So there's the deal fee, there's the desk fee. Deal fee, let's go back to that, can range between, I'd say, not $95 up to...
Yeah, on the low side.
Up to, I've seen up to $400.
Okay.
To cut a check.
And then, so for Oakwyn then, you guys are not on a percentage based?
No, we're
Okay.
a flat fee per check.
Okay. Is it really expensive? Or is it like all relative? It doesn't matter actually, right? Depending on how high the sale is, it's just flat.
It's just flat.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how big or large or small the check is.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing that I've always done for my developments, because sometimes my developments are like 60, 100 units. I'm not getting paid individually per
I mean,
unit.
that's a little bit different though, right? So if it's multifamily and you're blowing out a building, I've seen other brokerages where it's not that 1%. It just makes sense, right? Because the volume is higher.
Right.
Yeah.
So a flat fee, and I usually just invoice in bulk to the developers, and that's really one check. So
that's easy.
Easy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then there's the typical E&O
insurance?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's charged by the real estate.
It's no longer the council, but it used to be through the council.
And it's through the brokerage.
So errors and emissions insurance, right? Yeah. So for us, it's a bit different because we have to pay into 2 separate ones, one in Vancouver and then one in Victoria, because it's the Vancouver Island real estate. It's a little bit different. So ours is actually really expensive for that. It's really expensive. But yeah, you would have the errors and emissions insurance for the brokerage, and then your salespeople also, under their license, have their own E&O insurance.
Right.
But are you guys topping up then?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you're doing projects, the amount that you're covered for under E&O is not high enough.
Right. Yeah. So under Oakwyn HQ, we do top it off. So
Okay, that's good.
That fee will be passed down to the agents.
Yeah,
as well.
you have to, because they're also getting coverage.
Yeah. And then there's the typical board fees that are monthly dues.
Yeah.
And other than that, listing fees, courier fees, all that little.
There are a lot of fees.
details.
They all add up.
Yeah.
I just think that if you have the right people in place, it works. It works
But
really
come
well.
talk to us.
Okay.
Get to know us. We want to get to know you. That aside, then now your grand opening. What for your Victoria location? Like, how do you guys see by the end of the year how many agents you're going to have in the office?
I mean, it kind of depends on Warren. I'll help with that. I like to cold call, as you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great agents on the island. Not
Yeah.
but they're just amazing people. So easy to talk to. Not as though Vancouver is any different, but it feels a bit different. Interacting with some of those guys. So yeah, I don't actually know. I have to talk to him about that, because we didn't do a huge launch or anything last week when it was live, because my dad's in the hospital, as you know. So it kind of like, it's operational, but it wasn't something, the timing or whatever, we were just focused on family at the time. It'll work out though. Yeah.
It'll work out. And I'm praying for your dad as well.
Oh yeah, it'll work out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So some of the tools that you want to add in the brokerage for the agents to use, what would some of them be that you would recommend to me?
Well, you guys already have a good CRM, right? Or are they going to get their own?
They're going to get their own.
Okay.
Yeah. How does that work with your brokerage? I'm curious.
We actually have our own too, but I use one CRM where our team members can also use the same like contract. So through the same people, but it would be their own CRM that they're managing.
Okay.
So through the same company though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one CRM company, but you
and of course they would have their own. I don't have access to their database.
They're just like offering like a corporate rate or something. Because of multiple users.
Yeah, but that's important too, right? We talked a lot about CRMs previously.
Yeah.
So I'm using one right now that I actually do like. It doesn't look very fancy.
Did you switch it recently?
I did.
Okay.
It doesn't look fancy. It looks very clunky. I'll just mention this because we're on the topic. Darcy LaRock.
Yeah.
Actually
one of the guests that
recommended
we
it.
had. Yeah.
It's good.
Okay.
Realty Juggler.
Okay. I've heard a lot of things. I haven't looked into it.
It looks terrible and so old. Like graphically, very ugly. Functionality, which is what I care about because I want it to make my life easy.
Yeah.
Great.
Is it? Okay.
And it's integrated now with all of my systems. So I just do one thing somewhere, it pushes to everything.
Interesting.
It saves so much time.
Good. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. It's one of those things that we've like gone through.
I know
3 or 4 of them.
Yours is a bit different too because you're doing a lot of multi-scale like projects.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of the time we use the developer CRMs and we're not really taking their leads, right?
Yeah. Of course.
And then we end up reverting back to MailChimp because
we still use MailChimp
use.
Too, but not as a CRM.
Right, of course, because they're not a CRM. They're an email blast system.
They're great though.
Okay. So you're offering CRM.
Well, so basically all of our resources,
deals.
for example, even the people that we use for trades, inspectors, anything like that, it's just shared with anybody in our office. If they want to enlist the help of, basically it's the connections. And they have full access to, if they want, work with the same vendors. They don't have to.
Right.
But I think that that's something important too, especially if you've got new people coming in, new licensees. They're not going to know any inspectors. They're not going to know any great tradespeople. How would you know? And that's supportive for them and their clients should it arise and come up in situations, which it always does. Like contractors, builders, those kinds of things. So it's also the list.
Yeah. The partnerships that you would build. Okay.
And they've taken time to build, Yeah.
And how about education? So what kind of training are you offering?
Yeah. So
agents?
What we started implementing recently was it's not an actual course. It's more so just support. So when we look at the business planning and what people's goals are for the year, it's basically adjusting that, checking in, sales training. A lot of our guys have gone through I know I've mentioned this before, the Mike Ferry program. It's not the only program, but for fundamental sales skills, it's really, really important. And then other guys like Tom Ferry, we normally do that we used to do that kind of stuff together for the in-person events, but we haven't been going in person anymore because we're not really traveling or anything. So I think there's the sales support, the business plan support. You're also supporting in a way, like you have to get to know your people too. So have you ever had it happen on your team where someone's going through something in their personal life maybe and it's affecting
their work?
or their ability to, like, you just like, oh, that's interesting because they weren't as quick on that one, or they didn't pick up this. Those are subtle telltale signs. So you always have to check. I know you check in with your people, but that's something that's not in a manual. It's just something that you have to do.
Interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
And being highly emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
And kind of tapping into.
Yeah. But we like to get everyone together for the office meeting for not just what's happening in the market, but any changes that happen in the real estate world, both with obviously rates, mortgages, rules, because it's a liability issue. So we do make sure that everybody knows the significance of it and that they can ask questions. So I think that's just day-to-day business, not the actual skills training, which is something that's handled separately. What are you guys going to be offering your people? It might be a good time to tell the guys, guys and gals, so they can join. Yeah, Oakland University.
It's 9 weeks. So there's a series of steps you have to take when you're newly licensed. Number one, you're taking the trading licensing course, which gets you into the exam. Once you're completed and passed the exam of 70%, you're then completing the post-licensing course, which is through
It's 3 months, isn't it? Or
I don't know if
it takes longer now, I think.
I don't know. It's changed quite a bit since I'm going to look into it, obviously, because I'm going to get asked these questions. Right? So what are the next steps? So once they complete their post-licensing, you're now thrown out into the world.
You got to hang your license somewhere.
Figure out what to do next and get your first deal.
Yeah.
So Oakland University is 9 weeks, and we basically teach you the things that the textbook does not teach you.
Yeah.
Marketing yourself, branding yourself, down to different scenarios that you will need to be facing. What else are some of the courses? How to fill out the trade record sheet, simple things like that. And how to lead gen, how to completely, how to retain your clients. So those are the hands-on things that you're going to need that the textbook doesn't teach you.
Yeah, so ours is more just mentorship, walking, because no contract's going to be the same either. And it's access to that with the training and shadowing for a portion of time. It's not as cool as Oakland University, but it basically accomplishes the same thing.
But I think your approach with Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry, like those type of programs they're
just supplementary.
Right. But these are recommendations that you've taken all these courses, and
they're great.
And I think because you have that experience already on knowing what needs to be done, I think you're a great asset in terms of them approaching you. They're asking questions.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see.
So another thing is Oakland will always offers like webinars every week. So
I love that. Yeah, that's so good.
There's a weekly that goes out every Fridays into your inbox. There's also the Wednesdays seminars that are happening.
Yeah, it's good
morning.
To create community for sure.
And then every Monday mornings they're on Instagram Live. So there's a lot of presence from the managing brokers.
That's important.
What else is there? And
so wait, are you going to do your own then? In addition to that, or will it be through?
It'll be through Oakland, so I don't have to create my own social media accounts or anything like that.
Because I was going to say, that's a lot of work if you have to do it again.
Yeah, and that just takes off because, we both are really good at marketing. And just managing so many different projects for developers.
It's so much.
Marketing is just so much.
You need a little break somewhere so that you can refocus your energy where you need to.
Yeah, totally. And we might as well.
Don't invent the wheel. It's already there.
Exactly. Good way to put it. What else is there? I have so many questions that I know I'm going to be calling you. And
don't worry,
you.
just call me later.
So
what do we want to say, I guess, about for our listeners that are thinking, maybe I can open my own brokerage, or some of them are thinking, it's not for me. Right. I just want to stay in sales and I don't need to open my own brokerage.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share my why.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I think that this is the driving factor for me is at heart, I'm a business owner. Like at heart, I'm an entrepreneur. And after 19 years of working with buyers and sellers and even working on strategizing with developers, it comes very natural to me. I'm on cruise control, and the details of it's getting harder even for new agents. I'll be honest, like there's a lack of inventory, and you're working with many changes that you're assisting these buyers and sellers go through their life cycle.
Yeah.
And so those details my team can manage. I want them to manage it because they're better at it than me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my biggest why is building community, is helping people build their business. And
did you know you're a lot like Warren as well in that way?
really?
The community?
Yeah.
Oh, he also, sorry to interrupt because I want you to finish that. He did say, he's like, Jenny is just so sweet. I'm like, yeah, isn't she the greatest? So, because I know you guys were talking a few times. He had questions about some stuff.
Yeah. He's been great too, and I love his side passion hobbies too.
Oh, yeah, that's why you guys connect.
Yeah,
well.
I think that because we're like outdoorsy too.
But you're a community, so building community, and I love that why. There's nothing else.
Yeah, and creating this podcast, educating, allowing people to connect with each other. That's my greatest. Like that is where I'm getting fulfilled.
And I think that's why we work well together, because really, there's only people. There's the present moment, community with like-minded people, and love. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I would like to see.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that, just the deeper, when people are growing old and when they're trying and they're aging well and they want to continue living life, it's because they're surrounded by great people and they're surrounded by people who share the same values. And that's where I feel this is the last leg of my real estate career is being able to create that and being able to more wealth successful. and help people build their portfolio, whether that looks like more properties, whether that means more wealth in other ways, mm-hmm. Being able to be a voice for the ones that don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm. So important.
Yeah.
I think we should leave it there. I thought that was powerful.
I can go a lot deeper, but it's...
I like the philosophical discussions. I think that a lot of our listeners would too, but it would be fun to go deeper into that. Mm-hmm. I had something interesting happen this past weekend. It was like one of the hardest weekends of my life ever from the Friday onward. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you about it later. And maybe one day we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Okay. We'll keep it at that, guys. So if you really enjoyed this episode, the episode was all about how to start a real estate brokerage, what the little details you need to think about. And I know this is wrapping up at almost an hour. Oh. And we probably didn't touch on a lot of other steps that you need to consider.
Because there's literally so much.
There's so much. Like my brain is on fire right now. And I'm just...
Well, we covered the most important ones. You can't start a real estate brokerage without those things that we just talked about. Mm-hmm. And there are 100 other things that still need to happen.
Right.
And you'll get it done.
Yeah. So I think this is a great way to just start off. And I'm sure we'll have another episode throughout the year to talk about some of the things that I had to face.
And overcome.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to you soon.